old adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix it has a certain relevance to it, but of course that doesn't mean you can't improve it. And I think quite often we get the process and the technologies kind of a bit misaligned in that thinking. I mean, to touch on that point, I was really surprised at how many of the organizations were still using Excel. And there is some incredible stuff that far cleverer people than I can set up on Excel. But what I saw from the report was the processes around the workforce management were largely dependent on, at some level, some expertise in interpreting data. And then they were plugged into a spreadsheet, Excel program, and that's how that was done. It was almost like that's how it's been done for a long time. That's the way we'll do it. Going back to your point, let's not break it. But of course, that's not a very dynamic way of doing things. That you can set that up perfectly and have everything based on that perfect day and everything going great. But we know in field service that perfect day lasts for about an hour at the very most before something happens, whether it be a traffic delay, whether it be an engineer can't come to the to make the shift, especially now as we're still in that kind of period where we're working out with isolation periods if anyone has COVID. But of course it could just be as simple as the engineer can't get access to a site, whether it be B2B or B2C, and these all knock these schedules out. And that's where I was quite surprised at how many companies are doing that, especially I suppose from my point of view, immersed in the field service world. And Mark, obviously with your background with Click Software as well, the scheduling is so we have, and we're used to dynamic scheduling. We have various offerings in the market, whether it be FLS, IFS, the Salesforce embedded Click Software solution now, that all cover all these areas of the operational side of scheduling. Just talk to me a little bit about how workforce management sits alongside scheduling. Are they basically different aspects of the same thing, or can they sit alongside each other and like a dedicated solution like Goodit, for example, that's more focused on that HR side of things? Does that sit alongside a workforce scheduler, or does it replace it? Or how do those two intertwine?
Well, they're obviously part of the same solution. Okay, so field service management, or FSM as we know, it's more about manage the activities. Right? I'm simplifying. Okay, so engineers, tasks, customers, you're done. Okay, but before that, you need to make sure that your engineers are they're working. Okay, so before you schedule something, okay, so you need to make sure that their working time, okay, so established in the right way. Okay, so obviously, for some businesses, okay, so very often it's not required because you have certain amount of people and they're very clear working day, let's say 9 to 5, and you don't need to plan their time. Okay, so you need to plan the people, but not their time. Okay, so in the businesses which are a bit different, okay, which are dependent on the customer's volume. Okay, so like retail, hospitality, Horeca, let's put it this way. Okay, so you need to make sure that you have the right amount of people with the right skills, the right time. Okay, so sounds a bit familiar from the FSM world, right? So the very same statement comes, to the workforce management. Okay, so again, ideally, everything should work together. Okay, we plan our time, we schedule our time. Okay, and then we planning the activities. Okay, so then in combination of the two solutions, okay, or two categories of the solution, you achieve the best possible results. And there is no surprise that very well recognized FSM vendors, field service management vendors, okay, they do have parts of the workforce management tools in their solution. Okay, because it's very often you want to close this flow, as efficient as possible. Okay, again, there is some situations or some businesses where you don't have to do the field service management. Okay, you need to do just, say, time management. Okay, so there is no actual tasks, okay, which are tracked. Okay, so there is they are, but they track them in different ways. Okay, so again, as a good example is a retail. Okay, because there is no standard activity, there is no standard work order. Okay, so you have a customer, you serve the customer. Okay, so you have 10 customers, you need to make sure that you have a right amount of people in the sales point, to minimize the queues, to minimize dissatisfaction of the customers, etc. Okay, so again, it wasn't the case, the last year where pretty much all of our shops closed, but let's hope for the best, and